Hello, hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to Beauty Superstars Talk, which is your backstage pass to experts in beauty. My name is Miki Wright, and I'm your host. And I'm actually a salon pricing strategist with BeautySuperstars.com, and I empower hairstylists to charge what they're worth. And I want to thank you for joining us today. So, if you have ever been to a hair show, if you've ever been online on Instagram, on YouTube, or what have you, and you have marveled at master hair cutters or people who are master colorists, then you are in for a treat today. My guest is Micheline Barber, and she is a phenom with both the hair cutting and the hair coloring, and she's going to share some of her secrets with you here today. So, this series is called Double Trouble, where we're actually celebrating those who have mastered both cutting and coloring. And Micheline, of course, has done so much more as salon owner and extraordinaire. I should add, educator all over the country and the world. And we'll hear much more about her. But before we jump in, it's like I want to share with you a little bit about Beauty Superstars Talk. Basically, each and every week, I have the privilege to interview Black beauty bosses who are doing amazing things in the beauty industry. We give voice to their stories and celebrate their excellence as they drop nuggets to help all of us become much better beauty pros and better entrepreneurs. So, more than a podcast, it's actually a movement. We're here to encourage Black excellence, entrepreneurship, and preserve our history, as well as bring healing to our industry, the beauty industry. So I do want to thank our sponsor, which is the Black Beauty Expo, which is the hottest show for Black creative entrepreneurs in the hair, fashion, photography, modeling, and makeup industry. Their next show is coming up October 10th in Richmond, Virginia. And only 2 weeks after that will be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and that's October 24th. So be sure to follow them at blackbeautyexpo.com or on Instagram at Black Beauty Expo. So you can keep up with the latest news on the show and for special vendor packages as well. In addition, I'm excited to share with you that I'm the Global Education Director for the Black Beauty Expo. So if you are interested in educating, to please reach out to me. And if you are here for the first time, we want to welcome you. If you are coming back, then welcome back. We appreciate you being here. We invite you to subscribe on my YouTube channel at Miki Wright, MikiWright, and be able to know when things are coming out and not miss a single episode. So this month, as I mentioned, is Double Trouble. And we know, it's like if you've been around the industry at all, you know that mastering cutting is one big thing. And mastering color is a whole nother big thing. So I'm excited to be able to sit down and have this conversation today. And I want to share a little bit about her through her bio. And then we're going to jump right in. So welcome, Micheline.
Thank you, Mickey. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you. So thank you. So let's share a little bit about Micheline. Micheline Barber, she's mom, mentor, and mogul. When you start to take the parts of life in progress, words often aren't enough to express the elation and magnitude of what you want to convey. However, it has been said that has never stopped me from moving forward, nor should it stop you. And Micheline says, when I look at my life and all that I've accomplished, yet all that I still have left to do, there is one mantra that has followed me throughout all of my journeys. That mantra is impact the minds of millions, one at a time. So, with that message on my heart, my journey has taken me many places, from being a perennial mainstay at the Bronner Brothers International Hair Show, Premier Orlando, Philly, Alabama, and Ohio, Mainstream Hair and Beauty Expo, to winning the Steve Harvey Hoodie Awards 3 years straight, yay, as the owner of M Salon One, to being featured on the Bravo reality TV show Split Ends, all the way to my latest creation of Impulse Summit Educational Expo. My actions have always pointed to that. I believe that in this time, now more than ever, it is important that we remain true to what our true purpose is in life and has been. I can say that I can't say that I've envisioned my life taking me to all the places that I've been, but it's not a surprise. I truly believe when you are humble, work extremely hard on your craft, and look to give to others, the doorways to your success will continually be opened and a path will be laid. Looking over all things you have accomplished, have you ever asked yourself how and why? Have you ever stopped stopped yourself from being the most you could be, but God kept pushing you to greatness, then looking over your shoulder and saying, but God. And that's Micheline Barber, design team leader. So woo woo. Yes, what a journey you have had.
Yes, yes. Truly excited about all the places I've gone, all the places I've been, and all the places I'm continuously striving to go to. So I'm just, thanking him in advance for those things, for expanding my territory. Definitely.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I always love to start kind of at the beginning. And how did you get into the beauty industry?
It's so funny because I have a degree in fashion merchandising. That was the first thing I did after high school. And from a small town of Hartsville, South Carolina, that was good working at the mall, being over all the mall, dressing all the mannequins and all the windows. That was good. But my mom always wanted more for me. She's a cosmetologist. And so she was like, well, I'm going to just pay for you to go to, one of the top Afro-American schools out there for Cosmo, and it's going to be in Kernersville, North Carolina. With me not knowing anything about hair, but to do my own, I'm like, why not? It's a free trip out of town. My parents going to pay for things. I can learn how to do this. But when I got there, I didn't know anything. And
Mhm.
so it was one thing where you was there with people who have been doing other people's hair for a long time, knew how to part. I didn't even know how to part straight. So I was a true empty vessel ready to be poured into. So went to Kernersville under the tutelage of Miss Betty Clausen, Mr. and Mrs. Dudley, a couple more people that just placed gems inside of my life, that I was able to combine the fashion with the hair. So I was able to beautify people and then get into the motivational part of it. Just how can we beautify women on the inside and men on the inside to the outside? So my journey started in Kernersville, North Carolina. Graduated from Dudley 3 days before I was getting ready to leave to go back to South Carolina. Mr. Dudley was like, hey, I want you to stay. And so I was like, even though I got in fights in school, I did all that. I was like, you want me to stay? So he was like, a lot of times people see potential in you that you don't see in yourself. So I ended up staying, working for Dudley Cosmetology University, and started climbing the ladder until I became the director of, education for the traveling team. So I was very excited about that and just went from there and started just growing and knowing that there is God, in every situation. And he brought me to Kernersville, from one small place in South Carolina to another small place in North Carolina. And he watched it see grow. So I'm just grateful. So that's where I began with my mom and my father just pushing me out into the world and say,
Yeah, yeah. Well, that is fabulous. It's like I didn't know all of that.
yes,
And with your mom, I guess our backgrounds are a little similar. It's like I was always into fashion as a kid, never thought
yes,
about hair, even though my mom's a hairstylist and I was around it a lot. But when I started doing it, I kind of fell into it and I guess I don't know if stuff rubbed off or if it was just talent or what have you.
right,
Sounds
right,
like we had a similar
exactly.
experience. You just jumped in there and you're on fire and Mr. Dudley's singling you out and saying,
Yes, yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah. So what was the experience like of being part of the Dudley um, organization? I guess I'll phrase it for that.
I'm gonna say undescribable,
Mhm.
because I built relationships with people that we're still close with. We're still family. We still call each other, tell each other we love each other. When we see each other, we hug, we embrace, and that is something that a lot of people do not get in a Cosmo school.
Mhm.
And that was something that it taught me about bettering myself through whether it's the mentorship program there or the speakers bureau, being able to speak out in front of audiences, in which I'm very shy. A lot of people don't realize that, but I always have like a nervous breakdown before I even start any class. And they're like, "You nervous?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." They're like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yes." But that also taught me that that's a humbling part, that you are always hungry enough to share with somebody else your experiences. So they taught me that. They also taught me how to share and not be selfish, and to put yourself in the seats of those who sitting in front of you, and don't think about yourself. And it's not a Johnny Gill, my, I got this. It was, what if this person is in the audience is spending their last dime to come hear you and the words that you're saying. So don't let it be a lie. Let it be realistic. If you lost some battles, tell the truth. If you won some battles, tell the truth. Whatever it is, tell the truth about it, because that is that person that's sitting in that audience that want to know, how did you get to your position? Was it easy? And a lot of people think, and for a fact, people think it's easy being a platform artist. They think it's just, oh my God, it's going to be all this amount of money and all the lights, camera, action, but it's work. And you got to be willing to know to do things without any pay, willing to do things and put yourself out there and say, you know what, once I put this seed in the ground, I keep watering it. The day is going to come when it's going to come out of that ground. But we realize now, again, going back to, listening to Mr. Dudley, even now just did an interview with him, how much I really love them, how much I really am appreciative of my mom doing research and finding this, Cosmetology University to send me to, appreciative of me being able to tap on their shoulder if I need something and say, hey, I need an encouraging word, or, are you going to help me with this, or can I help you with that? That's something that I am so grateful for, being a part of that family, even knowing about you through that family. Like, we do research on some of the top elite educators, like, Fred Kenyatta, different people like that came through Dudley. Whether you taught there, whether you, educated on platform at Brown Brothers together, but we knew about our top. We had to do research on who's who in the industry. And so it just really taught you to really give homage to those who paved the way. And Mr. and Mrs. Dudley did pave the way for so many people.
Yeah. Yes. And they're still paving the way, because it's like, that legacy just kind of keeps trickling down, and you're on the move, all of the time, educating, pouring into people. And it's just, it's humbling in a sense, and just gratifying to see, how, the seed that he planted got planted in you, and you're planting it in the next, generation, and so on. Yeah. Yeah. And I did get to interview Mr. Dudley, but I didn't get a chance to ask him. It's like one of the first series I did for this show was on Black Colorist. It's like I met a young lady, Jessica Kidd, on Instagram, who started the hashtag Black Colorist Matter, and started a page that she curates like phenomenally. And it's like, there's just so many excellent, talented, well-trained colorists who are Black that are on there. And when I started thinking about, my experience in the industry, it's like that, in the last, say, 10 years is new. There were some of us that were coloring, but overall it's like we weren't, as a group coloring.
Acknowledged, right.
Yeah, we're still working on the acknowledgement part.
Right.
But we weren't doing a lot of color a lot of times. And I give credit to Mr. Dudley and the training that he provided through Dudley University to so many people, that this is like the offspring, or the, what do you call it, when it expands exponentially?
Yes.
It's like, that is like, where did all this training come from all these well-trained Black colorists? And I think it was from there. And that's my own opinion. I don't have the facts to back it all up, but, knowing, Patrick Bradley, it's like there's so many that I could name that I think you guys are really responsible for what we're seeing today.
I think I can say one of the things that, or not one of the things, but a lot of it came from them staying on chapters and getting an understanding, or allowing us to get an understanding, not just skipping over it. And I found when I go to other cosmetology schools, because I go to a lot of them to give back, a lot of the students don't feel like that is one of the major things they need to learn. I was like that. Like, okay, styling, I can give you any type of style, updo. I was known for that, would never cut it. Then I learned cutting. And then I watched my best friend D. Clay. I listened to her do color, but it did not ting into me until I'm like, wow, that makes sense. Because if it's 3 primary colors that make up all colors, 3 cuts that make up, it kind of like went hand in hand, almost like the fashion and the hair, of cosmetology. It just went together. And so as I started doing, I just started experimenting, and just started just saying, what if I take out this and add this? Same thing with cutting or fashion. What if I put this belt on that changed this whole look, or put some long earrings on, right? So we end up blending all that together. But it came from them saying, their motto is, until the last one get it. People don't realize that we had to stay till 3, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and we could not leave as a team I
Right.
don't care if you finished with your person, you was educating them on waving and you was educating them on cutting, and it was my portion. If that person was still there, everybody stayed with you
Mm-hmm.
until the last one got. That was their mantra that they carried throughout. So in my mind, that stayed with me. As they say, one child left behind. No, not only that, it was no one left you. So you was able to really get that bond because we came together, we left together. If
Mm-hmm.
this person was still here struggling with waves and you was tired, then I would pick up the comb and try to, to show them in the most simplest way of doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where my mindset, and everybody who ever came from Dudley until the last one get it.
Mm-hmm.
So even after the show, you'll see us pull to the side and still answer questions. Still take out the time to say, even though we're tired, we've been up all night prepping a model, or how it is, team no sleep. You still took out the time to say, you know what, you were showing something, but I didn't quite get that. Well, come on, follow me.
Mm-hmm.
Until the last one get it. Easily we could turn it off as soon as they say, okay, your time is up, get out the classroom. That's not how we work. And anybody that you see ever came through there, they have the same heart, the same passion, and the same desire to make sure that everyone get it down to the last one.
Mm-hmm. That is making me tear up.
Yeah, it's
Hearing
just
that, because I think it is so imperative, especially as teachers, as educators, that our commitment is to seeing people through the process. And a lot of the things that we learn, things like cutting, things like even figure waving, and especially coloring, are like, they're more concepts than they are like, okay, this is how you do it. And it's like, if you were cutting hair on a flat surface, we can teach you that, okay,
yes.
but you're
Add a little curve to it and change up the game.
the whole game. It's like,
Right.
and so, those kind of things, it's like, and like you say, not everybody learns the same way, not everybody gets it at the same time. And,
What I've found too is that a lot of the newer generation of stylists are very talented,
mhm,
very skilled. I think what some things are missing is the structure,
mhm,
because where they can go, because they can finger wave and just bring it all up and do, but then the structure of learning, when you take your value, your skill to another level of learning structure and how to read your audience and how to engage it, where would you go?
mhm,
Where would you go at?
right.
To a whole nother level. If we had the skill sets that a lot of the younger generation of stylists have now, oh my God, that,
Mhm.
just imagine, like you'd be like going, and we are legends, but just imagine what happens over a period of time. Like you are just unstoppable.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. I guess talk to us about, becoming an educator, like what led you into that? I mean, obviously Mr. Dudley kind of tapping you, but I mean, your passion continues.
Well, I think some of the things that started me into is I used to do something called Speakers Bureau every Tuesday. And it was, giving out money, because I wasn't the type. I used to sing in church. And when I used to sing, my mom, I know I had them there. So I focused on looking at them, not the audience. So anytime they asked me to speak, it was just like, oh my God, you want me to talk in front of people? And so I found that alter ego. You know what I'm saying? I found that Beyonce, how she changed up. I found
Right.
that, I can be Mitch over here, but then when I'm on stage, I'm a whole nother beast, because it just brings out an energy in me, because I know somebody out there that needs to laugh.
Mhm.
Somebody out there needs to, clap and have some beat and not just be that monotone. Somebody out in that audience is giving up. And what can I do to change their mind? What can I do to say I'm in the most amazing industry out there?
Right.
I can be free. If I want to wear a certain color every day, if I want to wear a signature look, that's me. And
Mhm.
not industry, a lot of industries they want you to be, okay, you had to have this bob or this, you had to have a sterile look. But it made you in this industry take it from being in the platform artistry world of knowing that you could take a white wall and add your flavor to it.
Mhm.
So with becoming a platform artist, I was in it, and I don't want to say forced, but I was forced to know that I was a force to be reckoned with.
Mhm.
And that was something that I had to understand, because I didn't see it.
Mhm.
And even my first one, they was like, oh, you can't work and talk at the same time, because I was talking with my hands so much trying to get it out. I didn't finish my model. And so They was like, well, you're having a hard time working and, talking at the same time. So I was always the type of person I had to prove something. And sometimes in my proving, did it hurt me? Absolutely. But that's called learning bumps. And a lot of us have scars on us that we learned the hard way, but at least I went through, or at least you should still go through and try it anyway. Mm-hmm. Because the only thing that's going to fail is you. You fail yourself for not going through. You don't never know what you could accomplish till you bump your head and you be like, oh, I can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let me just slow down. But at least you know that bump will go down over a period of time. When you touch it, it's tender, but it's a reminder that keep going. So even in the platform artistry world, I knew I couldn't be selfish. I knew there was somebody needing a Micheline. There was somebody that needing a more money. Give me some. It was somebody that needing to hear, make room. Your gifts will make room for you. Because a lot of times it's talented people in this world, but we're lacking on other things. We're lacking on the confidence in us knowing what we can accomplish. The confidence of knowing, hey, you can be, the VP of Black Beauty Expo, or the VP of, the president of the United States. You can be whatever you want to be when you put your mind to it. But at least get out there and try, and don't wait on somebody to give the answer. Because I always tell people, even with color, oh, okay, if the hair turns green, what color you put in there? They're like, red. How you know? Yeah, because so-and-so told me. Don't do research. Mm-hmm. What are those 2 out of the 3 primary colors gave you green in the first place, right? They'd be like, okay, what's the primary color? Blue and yellow. Okay, what's missing? Red. That's why. Get an understanding of the why, Miki. Mm-hmm. The understanding of the why are you up there and want to be a platform artist? Is it to be seen and you want somebody to see your shoes? Or do you want someone to see the walk that you're going through? It's a difference. I'd rather you see my walk than my shoes. Mm-hmm. The walk that I went through to get to where I'm at. And don't take it for granted and know your value. I said last night that there was something I could take back. That's me not understanding my value earlier on in my career. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand it.
So talk to me about that, because I've been offering a webinar now, a free webinar to help people with pricing. I see so many challenges with people underpricing, discounting, not knowing what their prices are based on. So if anybody questions it, they're like, oh, am I charging too much? And that lack of confidence and lack of willingness to set boundaries, it just seems like it's bigger than I've seen before. I don't know if it's just me seeing it that way or what, but
it's like that. What because it's things that people do. Mm-hmm. They compare.
Yeah.
They compete, right?
Yeah.
And they also, when you're talking about that, they don't complete themselves. They're always competing, comparing, but they don't complete something. So if I'm looking at what Miki charged, I don't know what Miki is doing to get that. So let me look at what I know my value is. Because if I'm going through and I'm shampooing, I'm detangling, I'm conditioning, I'm adding my, paying my price for my conditioner, and my conditioner is being delivered to me. And then I'm coming in with a leave-in, and then I'm coming in with, a steam treatment, a detox. All of these things are a la carte. But yet we will go to a restaurant, look at the menu, right? Mm-hmm. And say the only thing you decide on whether you want steak or chicken. But you don't say, well, you know what? I only ate a leg. So is it this price gonna go down? No, you ate chicken. Right? Yeah. So whenever we're thinking about the value of something, think about the questions that you did not ask anyone else. You always tell people when they say, well, I can go, get it cheaper. You know what? And I will help you. I will assist you with that. But then you end up coming back because they always say you get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I'm a true believer. When I lay my head down, I want it to be nice. Mm-hmm. Where I go to eat at a restaurant, because you and I broke bread in Orlando, I want it to be. So I'm going to do research on this particular place that I want to go because they're known for their duck or they're known for their, whatever. And I'm like, okay. And I always ask the waiter or the waitress or the server, should I say, what do you suggest? Mm-hmm. Because that let me know that they believe in this particular dish, or one of our number one sellers is this. So why they can't do the same thing with you, Miki?
Mm-hmm. Right.
What do you suggest, Miki? Mm-hmm. Right? I
Yeah.
suggest you do a little bit of color here. This is it, and conditioner. And if you know and you believe, if I believe in that servant or I've never met before, but this is what they do, believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit up here. And I used to tell people, boy, when I said my prices, I used to send them to the front. So my front desk coordinator, CC, would be like, oh, it's going to be 190, 200 something. I would walk away because I'm like, oh my God. But I did not think about what I added up the value of how many bowls of color I had, how much conditioner I have, how much I'm spending in making sure that the hair stay healthy. I didn't add that up. All I know was, oh my God, she's not going to want to pay it.
Mm-hmm.
But then the fact that when you hear somebody say, that's it,
Mm-hmm.
you're like,
Right.
oh, did she just say that's all? And you sit here like, God, I should have added $100 more, right? But you can't go back. You can't go back. So that's what we talk about, understanding your value. And what you're doing is excellent because you don't realize now people are doing so much comparison and so
Mm-hmm.
much competing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right? So they're not completing or the completion of themselves. They still not even, the circle is not even closed yet because they're so busy looking over here or on social media or on Instagram saying, you know what, so-and-so getting paid $1,000 to make a wig.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, they used to give $500 to $1,000, $1,500 to make those services. You know that for a fact.
Right. Yeah.
But now everybody, okay, I'm not paying that for a lace front. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
paying that, you know. And I always tell even my own daughters like, oh my God, mom, she charging, and you're gonna pay her. Because guess what? I don't do it. And if you see her work and if you did research on her and you see that, pay her what she asking for.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Even my own children, and I do hair, but I don't lay lace.
Right.
So go to that person that is known for it, that you ask the server, what do you suggest?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of the things, like almost in reverse to what you're saying, that I hear is like it came from a client I was coaching, but people are doing Nordstrom quality work and charging JCPenney prices, and it's all day, every day, and I'm like, what is going on?
All day, they're killing themselves, and then you can't, and then you want to get frustrated and want to stop doing hair.
Right.
Because of the fact that you have now said, I'm burned out.
Mm-hmm.
You get burned out when you're not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
When you're not changing up or you're doing the same repetitive thing over and over. If I'm constantly not going out and taking classes, if I'm constantly not sitting in front of a screen watching what other people say, I am going to get content.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be spinning in mud. But until I go out and say, you know what? I love what he said.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Or she said, oh my God, did you hear what she said?
Right.
And it make you think about, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
Not what Miki's doing, but what am I doing?
Right.
Am I really showing people my value? Or am I just, oh my God, he's not gonna pay that.
Mm-hmm.
Start counting people's prices. I always told people yesterday, they send a ram in the bush, and there's always someone in the bush for you.
Right.
And if that person is not for you to pay your price, then there's somebody else that will.
Right.
That understands your value. I have guests right now that'll be that defensive, like, oh, you what? In a minute, because they understand my value, like-minded individuals. So that's what that's about. But I love what you're doing. Love it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. But yeah, it's definitely needed. It's definitely needed. So talk to us about the color piece. Like, how did you, well, maybe we'll backtrack. We'll do cutting first. So how did you get into cutting? Because you said that was a little easier for you than the color. So
I actually got into cutting because of the lines that you see in fashion.
Okay.
And just understanding about, of course I have on vertical stripes, so it makes you look a little bit more slimmer than the horizontal ones, right? So in that, I had to understand which softens, which is going to give more weight. We know, and then going into color, which colors are going to show, more, which is the lighter colors than the darker colors. Looking at people eye color, looking at people eye shape will let me know, okay, do I need to offset this a little bit more to play off to slenderize her face? So I started learning facial structures, also looking at eyes and noses. So I started looking at that first before, and density of hair, because sometimes people will show you a cut, but their hair can't handle the weight of this particular cut. So it just went from there to understanding a whole nother world of that. So that was different.
Yeah. I think you brought up some really great things. It's like a lot of times I don't see like the facial shapes being taught as much these days, and maybe I'm
Right.
missing something, but it's so key to being able to create something that's beautiful, that looks very attractive and stunning on that person.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what you definitely have to look at, even the jaw structure.
Hmm.
And even when someone said, "Oh, my face looks fat, too fat to wear this cut," once you show them, and I always tell people, start off with anything with consultation.
Yes.
Everything was saying, you know what, Miki, if you know me, you know my colors. My colors, I love black and I love green. So you're gonna always see me in those signature colors. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna see that person in something that they like. So that goes into the consultation.
Hmm.
Even when, oh, I never wore blonde before. Okay, then take them up levels to where they feel comfortable with it. Or even red lipstick. I didn't wear red lipstick forever because being in South Carolina, they'll tell you, no, 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 you ain't wearing no red lipstick. Leave that alone. But, over a period of time, I had to get comfortable and confident in myself. And so with cutting, I slowly, started working my way up. And then I started analyzing and looking back at the pictures that I did, because my parents still have those up in her salon. And I look back where I came from, I'll be like, wow, I did them freeze curls and boy, I didn't comb them out, stuff like that, that you look at and like, oh, but then that was good. But when you look at the cut, I'm like, okay, I could have blended that weight line out.
Hmm.
Going back and doing self-evaluations of yourself first.
Hmm.
Being your biggest critic first. Getting understanding, knowing that I hate when somebody say I'm a jack of all trades. If you ever want to burn me up, that is just something I don't like, because you're not the jack of all trades.
Right.
You're still knowing that certain things you will accomplish, but over a period of time, there's something that you're going to lack in. Period.
Right.
There's something that you're not going to be the best in. I can't say I'm the best cutter, but what I'm doing is I'm mastering constantly every day when I'm in the salon behind the chair. I'm mastering my communication, my conversation with them. I'm mastering who am I competing against, myself,
Right.
to get better. And then it goes into the color. And so I just learned, even with the three primary colors, the three, which ones can add or subtract and give you what you're looking for. If I add a little bit more red, and I have yellow, that makes it more, double R, with a Y. Stuff like that, that you just realize which one is going to be more dominant. If I add more pigments in it, understanding, degrees of the cutting and the degrees of how much weight you need in the color to make it stick. What level you need to take it to, get all the red out for you can even see a blonde. So all these things I had to learn about levels to
Right.
see about levels in cutting. So it just kind of went hand in hand. And again, no matter how much I heard it, I wasn't trying to listen to it because my thing was cutting.
Mhm.
So you do the color. I don't want to talk about it. And then
Okay.
after a while, when I was forced to, and I'm like, okay, now it's time,
Okay.
start doing color because, I needed to elevate myself even more. And so now I'm constantly coming in and better myself, even on styling and even
Mhm.
on completing styles, so stuff like that.
Right, right. Yeah. So with the cutting, what do you find is like the biggest challenge for stylists to get? That when that it's like they can't quite get that click.
I think what I found is weight lines,
Okay.
blending. I
Hmm.
feel like sometimes when I'm educating perfectionists, they don't realize that sometimes you just need a little softness in there to make it perfect. When
Okay.
they're looking for that structure and they'll kill themselves trying to just get it just right. When the reality is they didn't look at the density, they didn't look at the texture, they didn't look at the length, so it's a lot of things that play a part in that. Just understanding blend and getting line of demarcations out and understanding about that weight that's in their hair. How can we really get that out? So I
Okay.
think that's one of the biggest challenges I see a lot of people not understanding the degrees or the lines, which ones are going to add, which ones are going to subtract to it.
Mhm.
So that's some of the things that I found in cutting. That is, I have to really show them which ones are weight and which ones are lighter.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because it
Yes,
definitely, I think sometimes, it just takes a little bit of time to kind of like grasp
yes, it does.
all
Yes,
of those pieces. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And what about for coloring? What are the things that people get challenged with most?
I think with the levels. When I say that, a lot of times people want to stop at a certain level because they get nervous that, oh my God, this is going too high. And they feel like they need a 40 volume,
Mm.
to get it there, instead of saying, I can do anything with a 10 or 20 volume. It's just time. And one thing I realized is that there's microwave mindsets.
Hmm.
And I tell people, call me slow cooker, because I'd rather get you there. It's still healthy in between that 10, 20 volume, right? Only time I use a 30 volume really is on my mannequins and 40 volume. You know what I'm saying? Because I can still get myself up there with a 20 volume, just time. And anytime I tell people, you know, on my level mark, it says going up. And I always tell people when they make that appointment, do you have time? You know what I'm saying? I was like, don't go pick your children up. Don't rush me. You know, do you have time to be with me in the salon? Because then we got to take it to levels. Then it's toning, it's watching that hair. You know what I'm saying? It's coming in between that time and conditioning, proteining. So it's a difference between conditioner and protein. So all these things with levels is that they want to pick up the 40 volume and the 30 volume immediately because they feel like that's the only way they're going to get their hair white or platinum blonde. And that's a misconception. With the levels, understanding when you get to seven, that's dropping all of those red factors, and now you're going into your goals and your pales that you can really get what you're looking for. But they're still staying at 5 and still have all this red. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, you know, I'm still a red orange. Yes, because you still have some red in there. Remnants, those children are still coming with you. You know what I'm saying? So I teach a bus method. You know, when you have 2 sets of twins. 3 sets of twins, you have your 2 blues, your 2 yellows, and your 2 reds. If you're leaving, right, and you're going out of town and you know you want to take those with you, what are you missing? What child are you missing in there? So if somebody have, you know, red, orange, you only have 1, 2 of your children, right? And 1 yellow. You got it? And so that's where your red, orange come at. What are you missing? You're missing your 2 blue babies, right? And 1 yellow baby. So your 2 blue, you need a what? A blue orange in order to get it. So that's some of the things when you're talking, I have to write it down. But when you're talking about it, what it's going to take out to get you what you're looking for, you got to have your babies to bring with you, the ones that you're missing.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So I have to look at it when I write it down. But yeah.
Yeah. And what was that journey like for you getting into color? Because you said you resisted, and then it was like,
I had to really find a fun way. That's why I said I got the bus method. You know, okay, if you on there and somebody having something, I had to think about twins, and I had to think of, because I always wanted twins, really. I never did get them. I have a twin. My daughter's my twin. But anyway, I always had that fun. I had to find a fun fact of educating. So when I started doing that, I started, you know, really getting people to do the X method of, you know, what cancels out or your desired level. So all these things came from me listening to other colorists that made it simple, and then I just added fun to it with the bus and just coming on, bringing all your children back with you. You know, what's missing your blue babies? Where they at? You know. So.
Yeah, I love it. It's like it makes it fun, and it makes it so you can see, you can visually see. It's like, oh, my baby's still on the bus. Okay,
that's it. I miss my babies. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, tell us about the summit, about Impulse Summit. And what's wrong with that?
Let me tell you, Impulse Summit is definitely something God gave me, because Miki, I've been doing this for a long time, working, you know, with Dudley, different companies like that. And I've always was hungry for knowledge, always have been, will always continue to be that way. And I always tell anybody, continue to be hungry and continue to be humble. So when God gave this to me, you know, I was talking and he was like, listen, this is, you know, you got to do this. This is something. I'm like, wow, you sure? And I'm like, you do see my bank account, right? You sure? You do see, right? He's like, listen, for every vision, there's a provision. And so in between that time, I got with Mr. Chris Bond. He was a great motivator to me to really push me out there, to really say, okay, do this. Just being involved with other people, summits, expos, hair shows. I know that I really want to do something in the industry. So I actually became pregnant with Impulse Summit. And so it is in the 9th month, and a month, you know, of revealing, a month of, you know, the circle of life. And so in between that time, me looking at it, I want to give something that I experienced, and even more. I experienced giving. I experienced, you know, the hypeness. I experienced the love, and everybody just loved to see each other. And so Impulse Summit came about, and it is a 3-day event. And so the first day is MIM, which is our Impulse industry mixer, MIM. And that is where we come in, you meet and greet, pool party, food, you just winding down and really getting a chance to get to know your elite educators that's going to come before you. A lot of times, for a fact, we always come in and we go straight to work. We don't get a chance to talk about it unless you stand at our hotel and we passing and missing, hey, but it's never an opportunity where we're just actually taking the time to sit back, sip on something, some wine or something, sip on some coffee and just talk to somebody and say, hey, I'm having a class. I would love for you to join me. Come join me in my class on tomorrow. And so we have the pool party that's going to be on Saturday, the pool mixer, blue and white. And so that goes into us really learning about each other. Then we have something called What Women Want. That's going to be led by Mr. Marcus Alexander and Mr. Joe Edwards. And my pastor, Pastor Major Jones. It's going to be a couple more people that's on this panel. And we have something called Sip and Say and Mind, Body, and Balance. And that's Miss Toya, Sheree, and Kim that's going to be leading that. Sip and Say is myself and Kendra Ward. And what this is really talking about people in the industry that's either married, divorced, want to date, single, whatever it is, in the industry, that we get to understand how to blend our faith first, our family second, and then our finances will come. Because I tell people for a long time, I made that mistake. I made that mistake of wanting to. I came from a family of working, and I know you came from that, where all we know is working. And your obligations, you fail to do the things that need to be done, like be at a track meet on Saturday because you feel like you got to work, or Sunday you have to be out at a hair show, or birthday parties, you out of town, and even down to FaceTiming. And so for my, majority of my industry life was spent on other people's platforms, not my own. And when I say that, I did not have the balance in life that I needed. And I needed to always, because I can't, God is like the first thing I always tell people, this, if you don't want to hear about him, you don't want to talk to me. And so my faith was there, but I wasn't doing the things I needed to do. And I was worried about my finances and my family. I thought I had to work so hard for my family, but the reality is they wanted time with me. Like God wants time with us. Right. So I got it misunderstood, and I lost a lot of things in my life, but I gained wealth and knowledge. Understand that? I had to get that understanding of God's going to provide if you just believe in him, if you trust in him. He's going to provide. And so with Info Summit, it came about where he made a vision and the provision come together. And so Sunday morning, we start off with the Power Breakfast, which is called the PPB, which is the Power Post Breakfast. And that's the Breakfast of Champions, with people like yourself, business-minded people who can come in and just talk to people and say, listen, I can help you with your business. Trust in me. I can help you with your finances. Trust in me. I can help you with your credit repair. Trust in me. I can help you build a salon or build a school. Trust in me. So that's the Power Breakfast. And that goes on both Sunday and Monday morning at 6 a.m. in the morning. Serious people wake up that time of morning. And so then we go into church service with Pastor Major Jones. And then from there, we go into classes all day long. Every hour and 10 minutes, we're changing classes. Okay. Cutting, color, trichology, business, branding, marketing, you name it. Extensions, microlinks, eyelashes, makeup. The only thing we don't have this year is nails. Looking for an educator in nails, okay? Shout out. And so that's one thing. And then Sunday night, we have something called cream and green. And that's another one of my favorite colors. Those who know me, I've been wearing camouflage all my life, like ever since. And my kids both are in the service. And that's something I get from that. For me, wearing camouflage. So cream and green is the color of the evening for Sunday evening, which is a gala. People come dressed to the nines. And it's a way that we have fun, hosted by Tamika Jones and Chris Bond. That's going to be our hostess of the Moses. The team diligently worked together to make sure that this is going to be an amazing event for those who attend in September. And then we have another Power Breakfast on Monday and classes all day Sunday. And it's a family reunion. It's really something that we say, come and get a seat at the picnic table at the family reunion, where we having our wine, for info. Okay. So we having all the things that we want. So you won't have a problem with food. We feed you at the cream and green. We feed you at the pool party. We feed you, breakfast. All we ask you to do is come hungry, and hungry in your mind, not your belly. because that's going to get full. But come empty. Come where you want to really look at yourself and say, I've made mistakes. I've made mistakes. I've opened up a salon and, had to go to a suite because I needed to just revamp. I've made mistakes in having, larger salons. I've made mistakes. All we asking you to do is come there and learn from those who you are not a mistake. See, that's the thing.
Right.
You make mistakes, but you yourself is not a mistake. And people think they're a mistake. You're not. You made them. Yes, get up, dust yourself off. God said, listen, I made you in the image of me. You are not a mistake. But you make them. That's why he forgives us over. And because he knows that's what we're going to do. And that's why, again, I heard Nikki say one day, there's an eraser on the end of a pencil because we're going to make mistakes. He knew that already.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of times that's where we learn the most.
That's it. Being able to erase and start over,
Yeah.
And so with the summit, it is, called Stretch because we've been stretched and we're talking about with no limits, no boundaries, manifesting what you really want in life. We're asking you right now to come there and God is going to give you everything once you enlarge your territory, always, everywhere. So we're excited about it.
Right. Well, what are the dates?
September the 18th through the 20th.
Okay.
September the 18th through the 20th in Columbia, South Carolina. It's going to be at the Doubletree in Columbia, South Carolina. So I'm so excited about that. So excited about, our sponsors, Basic Hair Care, Northwest Mutual. Also, we have Black Beauty Charisma. That's going to be one of our sponsors that's sponsoring the wine. We have all kind of exhibitors that's going to be there. Educators, like over 50 elite educators.
I saw the list. I was like, wow.
50. Out of those 50, I want to say we have about 10, maybe 11 of them that came from Dudley. That's Dudley.
Okay.
Freddie J, Corey Paul. I mean, myself. It's so many of us, Joe Edwards, that came from Dudley. That is, we bringing that D Clay. We bringing that spirit over here.
Right.
Including we got some special guests like people who are coming from Dudley. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm excited about the Impulse Summit. So everybody, take notes, go, where do they need to go to check it out?
They can go to MPULSCSUMMIT, impulsesummit.com to check it out. So that's Impulse Summit. They can go to our Instagram, see some of our lead educators, the different things that we're doing there. They can go on Facebook to my page, Micheline Barber. They'll see some things on there as well. So Impulse Summit is all over the place. It's all over the place.
Okay. I think I have it there scrolling along. So yeah, check out Impulse Summit. And one of the things I wanted to share while you're here is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Dudley Legacy Project, and you said that you did an interview, but it's like we're really trying to get small, PSAs, I guess you could say, public service announcements from Dudley grads and from anybody that Mr. Dudley and the Dudley organization has touched, Mrs. Dudley, his daughters that are, preserving the legacy and continuing it. To encourage people to join his podcast.
Yes.
$10 a month. It's like, and this is all in an effort to preserve the history that comes with him. Like all of the pictures, there's like over 3,000 different pieces of, photographs of him with different people, speeches that he's done, awards that he's won, all of these things, plus, all of the things that were produced through DCU. It's like we want, people, 100 years from now to know who he was and the things that he impacted, the lives he touched and all of that. And it can only happen if we preserve it. And it's something as Black people, it's like we don't always think about or don't always even know about. And so I'm excited to be part of that project and really just trying to get the word out more. So if you have some Dudley friends, alumni,
definitely. I know they interviewed Kia, also Corey, D, a lot of people that I know. So definitely I've been telling everyone about it. I mean, every time he speaks, I cry. I ain't gonna lie to you. I be trying not to, but it's just so emotional. Like you said, you get teared up because I can actually say that's where I came from. I can actually say I was a part of that. And not a lot of people get an opportunity to say that. Not a lot of people get an opportunity to really say they was a part of something that was so amazing.
Right.
Something that touched so many lives. And, I remember us having to wear the blue suits, and we used to come through Bronner Brothers with our big suitcases. And, he taught us about structure and love.
Mm-hmm.
And he is such a giving, him and his wife are such a giving person, or people, should I say, that it trickles down.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a fire that when you see everybody around us, they know we sing, we dance, we laugh, we joke, we play, but yet there's a time to be serious.
Mm-hmm.
It's like seasons. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's a time for growth. It's a time for, falling off. It's a time for everything. And in that period of time, I found myself going through so many seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so grateful for it. I tell anybody, if you have never experienced anything about it, then that's where Impulse Summit, when he said that to me after the interview, he's like, what you're doing is just going to touch so many. He said, keep doing it. And just to know he's watching what I'm doing and
Right.
acknowledging what
Yeah.
I'm doing is just like, wow, this is big. This is not something. And he said, even though you want to give up, because it gets hard because you're trying to push other people, and you never had a problem back then pushing people to perform, but it's different. And you get weak because people think you micromanaging them and you being hard on them, when the reality is you only want them to grow.
Right. Right.
And anytime you're looking at something, it has to in the ground and you want to grow, you got to soften up that dirt.
Mm.
Anything, you can't have hard dirt. It's like cement. That's cement.
Okay.
If you ever want to soften something up, if you ever want to see it grow, you gotta beat it. Before you make a cake, you gotta beat it. Everything, that egg has to be beat,
Mm.
right?
Right. Right.
So why not realize that when somebody's beating you that way, it's only because they want you to form into greatness.
Right.
They want you to be great. So don't look at it as them micromanaging or they hard or, they think they know everything. It's not that. Everyone is just trying to keep you from making the mistakes that they did.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Trying
Right.
to keep you avoided. Because we avoided some things that Mr. Dudley went through.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We avoided some things that Floyd Kenyatta and other people went through. We avoided those things, Miki.
Right.
Even your story. We avoided some of the things that you made mistakes in
I hope so.
because you was willing to keep sharing and being consistent. So you consistently, like you said in the beginning, this is something you do every week, not because you're tired. Oh, I want to do it and nobody's listening. I only have 4 people get on.
Uh-huh.
No, it wasn't
I
about
have
that.
those moments, but I'm like, okay, we're back
Yes,
up again.
back up again. Everybody have them, but you kept pushing.
Right.
And
Right.
that right there speaks volume because you kept pushing
Mm-hmm.
without limits, no boundaries. You just kept it moving no matter what. That's the difference.
Right. Right. And that's the thing that you spoke about earlier with, you know, the commitment that it takes, to really put in the work, show up every time, show up prepared every time. And
Every time.
the start of what Beauty Superstars, originally started from, because, early on I was doing a lot of platform work and on stage and that type of thing. And it looks so glamorous and everybody comes up to you. It's like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. And it's like, do you really want to do that? Do you really have what it takes? Are you really willing to, get up extra early in the morning to do prep for models? And are you willing to work all week and then jump on a plane and go to another city and not have time to eat and go into model call and then
Yes.
and
Are
get
you
a couple
really
hours of sleep? Are
ready?
you ready?
Are you ready or are you going to get frustrated?
Right. Or are you going to be like, oh, and I think you mentioned Reginald, the interview I did with Reginald Mitchell. And I'm pretty sure it was him who told me, because he was one of my trainers for being on stage and presentation and that type of thing. But he said, everybody looks good on day 1. Day 3 is the test. It's like,
That's it. That's it. I always tell people, if you ever want to see somebody true color, stop doing for them.
okay. Yep.
Stop babysitting them. You're going to see the true colors.
Mm-hmm.
Because as long as you're giving and it looks good when you're on stage, go. Oh, yeah, I want to be like that. But then when you come down and you sick, I done had to work on my birthday. I had to work when I'm sick. I done had to work when I was cramping. I done had to work when I had a headache. I done had to work when I was tired. Just got off a plane, went straight to prep models, then get off there, just go in, continue to prep them in the hotel that morning before you leave. Everybody invading your space, putting your makeup on, finding what you're going to wear, then getting to the stage on time and ready for introduction, only to start back over again for 2 to 3 days.
Right. And
Do
then
you
you go back
have
home to
what
work.
do you have what it for a long time? I didn't take off Tuesdays. I would go straight from Monday and into the salon on Tuesday. And then my body was like, okay, now you take a Tuesday off. You do understand you're 51 years old. Now stop playing. And so it's just it's just a new thing. It's a new thing. I call it a new. I feel like I have a new way of thinking, a new way of moving. And this generation, they need us. They need us, and we need to keep being consistent in everything that we do. And they're gonna follow us after a while.
Yeah. Well, talk to us about your new way of thinking, because I think that, having gone through the year and a half that we've gone through, maturity, it's like, I even think that the whole world being shut down at one time is like God saying, sit down, reassess what is important, and so what has shown up for you?
I could definitely say a lot of people, when they talk about the COVID days of being shut down, that was the one time everybody was on the same playing field. That was the one time that nobody had to worry about whether anyone else was getting more, gaining more, doing more hair, more nails, more eyelashes than anyone else. This was the first time that everybody just said, God said, listen, I'm going to unplug y'all for a while. And everything in life needs to be unplugged. And they always tell you that with your cable. Cable not working? Okay, unplug it for like 3 seconds, then plug it back in. That's what God said. He said, I needed to reset you. I needed you all to realize that I am God. I needed you to realize that you're putting all this other and you're moving fast paced. And I don't know about y'all, but everything was moving in a blur. And I started like forgetting things, and I started like getting anxiety. Like I never have anxiety, but I was like, oh my God, because I just felt like everything was just going so fast. And when it took me just to lay down, sit down, and just, even down to cleaning my closet out and just organizing my refrigerator, I'm like, wow, this is what I'm talking about. Because I never took out the time to do it.
Right.
It was not enough time in the day to do it. And we started up with Refuel and Rise Up. God gave that to me about 4:00 in the morning. I called Freddie, called Corey, Muffin, and LaShonda Hill. And we started doing Refuel and Rise Up. And we was doing it every day. And we was doing Motivational Monday, Tip Tuesday, Wise Up Wednesday, Think About It Thursday. And then we did Drop the F-Bomb Friday. So every day we was getting up, putting makeup on. But we was on the phone with each other, Zoom on each other, talking to each other, and, Facebook Live. FaceTiming with each other. But it gave me an opportunity to learn about Corey more, Muffin more. Freddie and I, we've been together ever since Dudley days. But it gave me an opportunity to learn about LaShonda Hill and her talents. And so we digged up so many things, like talking about how to find out about split ends. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you identify split ends? So we was able to talk to the consumer, the end user, and the ones who behind the chair. So it was encouraging for us to come out and say that God said your gifts will make room for you. And so our gifts was being able to encourage someone else during this time and get their mind off of, oh my God, I got bills. Oh my God, how I'm gonna eat. And he just made a way. And like I tell people, if you didn't realize to count your blessings, if you didn't realize that your family members were still there, your children, your children's children, you was able to go back to your business and pick back up even more with doing less people. I find myself doing less people now and making more opportunities, more chances, more communication. When I say, who's next? No, me and that person in my chair. And even the reviews that I've been getting is like, I feel at home. I feel like when they come in there, take your shoes off. You want something to drink? And we like sitting back, having a general conversation. I don't feel like I'm just doing hair. I feel like that is a passion that I'm doing. So I'm bringing people to life, and they also resuscitating me. It's a CPR for me. So definitely that's what I learned, Miki, that, God reset us all. He unplugged us It was needed.
Right.
It was needed because we was doing too much, and he seen that we was doing too much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's really powerful. And it's like, and I love how like you said, had the vision and brought everybody together to be able to be a light,
Mm-hmm.
in the midst of everything. So yeah, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like you guys did a lot. It's like
Yes, we still do motivational Monday, and we still do drop the F on Friday.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
we still do that. It
awesome.
was 3 days. We went from every day to 3 days to now 2 days, Mondays and Fridays.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and we all need that, like you say, like that motivation and just like you say, take this time to step back, clean your closet and do the fridge and all of that.
Yes, I mean, and not only that, like I said, that's a physical closet, but we also had to clean up our closet in our heart
Mm,
and find out if you have somebody who you need to forgive. I found myself calling people, and God was like, "Listen, I need you to call them. Ask for forgiveness. Whatever you think, if whether you was in the right or wrong, do
mhm.
that because
Right.
this is what I need you to do." So I found myself calling people, asking them for forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? Just and me forgiving people who did things to me. I
Hmm.
had to find myself. So I clean out my closet of my heart
Yeah.
because you hold on to things and that person's sleeping and you age.
Right.
They don't even know you mad at them. So when I called, and whether they answer the phone or not, God said, "Listen, I told you to do it." Some
Hmm.
answered, some didn't. Some said, "I'll call you back," some didn't. But guess what? I did what I needed to do. So I cleaned out my physical and I cleaned out my closet here. And whether someone want to still hoard it or hold on to it, then that's what they got to go before God in. And so it just caused me to really look at me, even down to my children. Like I apologize to them not being at their functions like I needed to be, or just being in their life when they were, going to certain things that their dad had to pick up and do. And I'm not going to get emotional about it, but I had to have that conversation. It
Hmm.
was an uncomfortable conversation, but
Right.
Mickey, it was needed because God, He tells you sometimes you got to do things that's so uncomfortable. Some things you got to be stretched on,
Hmm.
and watch when you return. I'm a better person.
Right.
I'm a better person because I'm able to walk through and say, "Well, God, I did what you." And even though I was like, "You want what?" Call them. I don't even like them like that. But
Okay.
but He was like, "Listen, yes, you do. You just, don't. You can't come before me talking about asking forgiveness and you haven't forgiven anyone else."
Hmm. Hmm.
In this industry, we got to find forgiving hearts. We got to find that thing, whether you feel like you're in the right or the wrong. Go to God before and say, "Listen, let me call Mickey and see, hey, I'm sorry I didn't curl your hair the way I needed to. Do you forgive me?" Because some people can hold on to the most simplest things in life.
Right.
Sometimes people can be mad at you and they don't even know why they're mad at you. They mad because their
Okay.
friend mad at you. Oh, I don't like it because she don't like them.
Right.
And some of the conversations, if you only heard one side of the conversation, you don't ever know what the other side is about.
Hmm.
So having a conversation is needed.
Yeah.
And I tell people do that. So it did have me a reset in my heart as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's huge. The whole forgiveness piece and having the difficult conversations. I think, like you say, it's like we hold on to things and we keep a lot of things that is like, oh, well, I was right. So,
Yes,
I'm not apologizing or I'm not gonna be the bigger person or what have you because I was right.
yes,
Like,
yes,
and these days we go online and get backup. We get the amen corner. It's like, oh, girls, like, I don't know why that client would do that. You should just fire her. And,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. And you're making me reflect. It's like there was a time when I was actually on my phone. I was talking to the owner of the salon, but I was talking in a spot it was a spa area as well. And I wasn't supposed to be on the call. I shouldn't have been on the phone at all, even though it was like I saw the owner was calling. So I picked up and one of the guests, kind of came through the hall at that time and she expressed her, discontent, to the front desk. And I called her and she was, to apologize because I was wrong. I should not have been there. And she was like, "Oh, well, they made you call." I was like, "No, no one made me do anything." It's like I was wrong and I need to
Hmm.
just apologize and try to make this right. So, I disturbed the atmosphere that you came here paying money to get. And so,
And see, a lot of times, think about what you did and think about now someone will walk around and say, I'm not calling her. She shouldn't have called on me. That it's this. And we watch people argue. And, I just watched something the other day. They're in a salon. I'm like, y'all are arguing in a salon over these young babies' hair that came there. Obviously their parents dropped them off, but y'all arguing over taking the trash out. Are you serious right now? Like, designate a day that, okay, Miki, you got Tuesday.
Right.
Miki, you got Wednesday. If it's an issue. But if you are in a situation, and I always treated other people's situations as if it's my own, because when God bless you with your own, watch what's going to happen. So if I need to take the trash out, paint the walls,
right,
whatever I need to do, I did it. There's nobody salon I ever left that can ever say I didn't do more. I didn't leave that situation better than when I came there.
Right.
Because when God blessed me with mine, people came in and this is so nice. Oh my God, this is beautiful. It smells good. It's almost like they shocked.
Right.
Because they didn't walk in another situation. I'm like, well, dang, what you been going through? What you been smelling? But it's but you look at it now and you're so grateful for just those things that are going through. And like you said, you was big enough to know when you was wrong. You was big enough to acknowledge that I needed to do something different because I made that mistake. I did that.
Yeah. I mean, I could have justified it all day long, but it's like it wasn't the right thing at the right time.
It wasn't even worth it.
Absolutely.
Wasn't even worth it.
Yeah. It's definitely those pieces. And then having the conversations, like you say, the hard conversations, and some of the, it's like you talked about it with your daughters, but some of the conversations we have to have in the salon are hard conversations.
Yes. And in leadership, it's always hard because I've always wanted to be a friend with you. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
And friendship didn't work when it came down to handling business.
Right.
And so they looked at the fun side. Let's go, let's have fun. But then when Mitch needed to crack down on the, hey, somebody left the lights on, and then I was the other side. So in leadership, you're going to always catch it. It's going to always be those uncomfortable salon meetings. And what I found and I learned in some of the salon meetings, I would have a box and I would tell everybody to write down all their concerns and put it in the box. So once we did it, everybody would pull it out. We'll read it. Don't have to put your name on it. I don't care if you didn't like the way the landscape looked. Write it down. And we would acknowledge one by one everything was in that box. Okay, close the box, burn it. Not to be discussed anymore, because once it's discussed, don't go back and have that water cooler conversation. We discussed it, right? And now you said you didn't like this, and this person said something when it could have been a whole misunderstanding. Well, she went in my color, and okay, but did you go in hers one time? Yes, I did. Okay, well, maybe it was because she just thought that she could go in your color because you went in hers when I asked you, right? And you like, I did borrow 3 colors from her, right? So these are things that, as a whole, as a leader, in anything you do, even down to Impulse Summit, I have a team in which I get everyone's opinion on, well, what y'all think about this? We come to the table, we agree to disagree. I just had something this morning, I had to take out my cart. And, he was like, no, I don't get that. Okay, get that. I'm like, well, why? He's like, because this makes sense and this doesn't. And I'm like, you know what? Okay. Even though I'm paying for it, I still had to get everybody their opinion because my team matters, because I have like-minded individuals that want to see Impulse Summit win.
Absolutely.
You got to be around people that say, well, how much you paying me? No. If you think about that, you don't be around me, because anybody that know we're opening a business, you don't make it at first. You give first.
Right.
You get first later on, but not right now. You got to give to somebody. So they're like, well, why are you buying bags and why you buy? Because, I want somebody to come to the summit and feel like this is what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Not charge for do for everything. I wanted to give. That's what it's about, that giving heart.
Absolutely. Yeah. The keys to your success and the impact you've had on the business. So yeah, we appreciate you. We appreciate your leadership in the industry, and definitely wishing you all the success with the event.
I would love for you to be there. I know you're such a busy lady. Come on down to Columbia, South Carolina and visit us.
I've been looking at it. I have been looking at it, and I wasn't sure I could find the location. I saw it was in South Carolina, but I couldn't find the city.
It's in Columbia, South Carolina, at the DoubleTree. It's double Bush River Road.
Okay.
So it's a Hilton land.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can always call me because the hotel was sold out.
Wow.
They were sold out, but the event just canceled. Another event just canceled, so they was able to give us those rooms for that. They just called me today and opened up some more rooms. So I definitely would love for you to come.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's going to be an amazing event, and the talent is just off the charts.
Phenomenal. We have some of the top. I cannot stress it enough. Yes. And for those who want to join us on live, I'm going live tonight on Instagram, live every Thursday on Facebook. So,
okay. Awesome. Yeah. It's like that. Those pages, like you said, you have like 50. I was like, whoa, it's another page and there's some more classes.
Yes. Tons of people there, over 50. And I'm excited.
Yeah. It sounds like it should be wonderful. So in addition to Impulse Summit, is there something that's next for Micheline?
Yes, after Impulse Summit, I'm doing something called Impact Next. So many people have asked me about platform artistry, educating them on how to carry an audience, and to how to really, brand yourself, market yourself. So what I'm doing is I'm educating people on speeching, walking, talking the world of platform artistry. So I'm always looking forward to train for individuals, and that's going to go through credit repair. We're going to be talking about saving money. And that photo shoots, you name it. So everything, and even down to not saying so much in ahs, because that irritates me to death. Right. So I have to, really follow what is next. Finishing your sentence, knowing, okay, if I'm going to talk about this product, do you have your product and how are you holding it up to show people? Mm-hmm. Do you have your brand around you that people can actually see? Are you wearing your signature colors? All these things are going to go into Impact Next. And so that's my next baby after Impulse Summit.
Nice. Sounds good. Sounds really good and much needed. It's like there's a lot of people who are looking to enhance those skills and then even how to prepare for approaching a brand.
Yeah.
So, that sounds like the spot to be. So,
I'm excited.
So any last words of advice for people, or maybe even the best advice that you were given?
The best advice is, let me see, definitely, it's a lot of advice I can say. I always say make room. And I said that for so long. And we got to look at our gifts. And the next thing I always tell people is follow your legends. Do research on a Miki. Do research on these individuals who have made and paved a way. Do research on Mr. Brown or Miss Dudley, Mr. Dudley. Do research on all these individuals and see where they came from on developing their product for up to $10. $10 to their name. You know what I'm saying? How to get out there, and they really show themselves to be on the main stage of stages that we had to fight for, and still trying to find a way to be acknowledged on. Making a way of knowing that we can spend money with each other, and it's okay. The biggest advice is support your people, support Browner Brothers, support when you see Afro-American, support Black Beauty Expo, support Impulse Summit, support it.
Right.
But we'll go across the country and support other things.
Yeah.
Stay humble, stay hungry. Stay humble and stay hungry. You'll never starve to do those two.
Yeah, I love it. So thank you so much, Micheline.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here, taking your time with us. It's like this has been just so valuable. So I hope everybody pulled out a notebook and
I appreciate
it. So you guys definitely stay tuned. I'll just share a few things as we wrap up and get you guys on your way. But thank you. It's that's amazing. If you have missed any of the last Beauty Superstars Talk interviews, it's I've done over 60 now. So they are all available at beautysuperstars.com/podcast. You can see them there. It's we're still adding more to the listening part. And You can partner with us with Beauty Superstars Talk with by visiting beautysuperstars.com and just look for the red button there. And oh boy, I have a treat for you guys because I know that a lot of people are struggling with how to raise their prices, how to even tell people their prices, what their prices are based on, having that confidence and all of that. And so I am doing a free webinar that is coming up. And so register for the next one. It's at beautysuperstars.com/level up. It's called Level Up and Charge What You're Worth. It's like we'll go through, uncovering 3 things that most stylists do not know that is actually costing them thousands of dollars, like a year, not even over the life of your career. So we've had so many aha moments, and I have people who've gone through my course that I introduced there, which is the Luxury Hairstylist Blueprint. One young lady on week 4 made $1,000 more than she made on week 3. So, and she hasn't even fully raised her prices yet. And, you're thinking, she's working 12 hours, sun up, sun down, all that, 3 days a week, about 6 clients a day.
Damn.
I want to help you guys do that. So join me for the next free webinar to level up and charge what you're worth. And so it's beautysuperstars.com/level up. And we're going to take you there. And so, again, I want to thank our sponsor, Black Beauty Expo. Again, look for upcoming events. There will be more touring going on throughout the year, but we have Richmond, Virginia, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, October 10th and October 24th. So look forward to seeing you there, and follow them on not Beauty Superstars, but you can find a link there, but on blackbeautyexpo.com and also Black Beauty Expo on Instagram. So thank you again, Micheline. This has been absolutely fantabulous, and wishing you all the success, and we shall definitely get some information out and keep posting about the summit. So
I appreciate you, Miki, so much.
yeah, well, congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Take good care, everyone. We'll see you next time. Keep reaching for the stars.